Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm going to quickly go to selection sort and quick sort in VB for you. I did have some feedback that my head was far too large and was somehow getting in the way when it was this size. So I've made it nice and small, and that way you don't have to see my big old ugly face anymore because that's the feedback that I've had. So all right, let's start a program. So this is my selection sort program. Now, if you remember, the selection sort, the idea is essentially you look at your numbers. I can probably open this up in OneNote. You look at the numbers. You go, okay, um, where's my notebook? You look at numbers and you go, okay, well, you know, if I have a set of numbers, let's say 2, 7, 3, 4, and 1. Right? The way the selection sort works is it goes, okay, well, currently if we're dealing with this first position here, right? 2 smaller than 7, 2 smaller than 3, 2 smaller than 4, 2 is not smaller than 1. So the 1 and the 2 swap places. So the 1 goes here and it gets locked in. Right, then we got 7, 3, 4, 2. Right? And then we go, okay, we move on to the second position in this array now, which is this one. And ignoring the 1, we go, okay, 7's bigger than 3, which means 3 is the smallest at the moment. 3's smaller than 4, so 3 is still the smallest. 3 is not smaller than 2, so the 2 moves into the next smallest slot here where this 7 is. So the 2 and the 7 are going to swap, and you get the idea. So it becomes 1, 2, and then we're left with 3, 4, 7. And we keep shuffling through essentially until we get through all of them. So let's get my notes here. What we're going to do is we need to start off by declaring a couple of variables that we're going to use. We're going to have a couple of integers, and the way that these integers are going to work, essentially, there's going to be one that's it's an array length. So I'm just array length, right, is one of them. We've got array length, which is the length of our array. We're going to have a count. We're going to have like an inside way to put it. Maybe I should do count. I should just do inside and outside, because we're going to have two sets of loops essentially going here. So we're going to have one inside loop that sort of goes so the inside loop will iterate through every single value and go, is this one smaller than this one? Is this one smaller than this one? And then there's going to be a bigger outside loop which focuses on we're in spot number 1, we're in spot number 2, we're in spot number 3, and so on. Then the last one is just going to be a temporary storage variable. So that's what we need. We need those. I think that's all that we need for the moment, but I may have to come back and add some of them in. But I'm just going to do that later. For now, I'll just say, I'll make it fancier later, but console right line, enter number of elements, right? So it's going to basically say how many elements need to be sorted, right? How many things do you want to put in? So it's going to be array len equal to console.readLine. Array len is console.read. Now, right, there it goes. Array len is console.readLine. Like, okay. So we take in exactly how big we need this array to be. And then we're also going to have, we better have another integer in here as well. Because we need to make an array, right? So dim, this is going to be a little bit messy here. So the array version of array, yeah, that's not exactly ideal. So we're making an array of the size array length. But anyway, that's a little bit messy, but it should still work out okay for the most part. We're going to do a for loop. So for I, I'm just going to make a random variable I equals 0 to array len minus 1, right? So essentially here I'm saying that I'm going to iterate through every single, let me backtrack. This dim array length makes an empty array of the size array length, right? So it's made an empty array that, let's say if you want 5 elements, it's 5 elements long. Then with my counter starting at 0, it says go to, from 0, tick up until 5 minus 1, like y minus 1. If you think back from the start of the year when I talked about arrays, remember the first element of an array is always 0. So meaning the fifth number in your array will be 4, and that's why the array length is minusing 1 to get through to that. Okay, so we're going to say console write line. This is just going to be a bit of a prompt to the user. So it's going to say enter element number, and then I'm just going to have a variable here, enter element number I. I should say I plus 1, because really we want we don't want to say enter element number 0, because that's not going to make a lot of sense. So I'll show you what this looks like in a second, and then we're going to say that the array in spot number I, so whatever the current array, will have the value of I, and we're gonna basically take in their their input and turn it into an integer. So see this cin function, see how it says converts an expression to the integer data type. So if we want to put that around whatever they type in, and then we'll have console.readline. Right? So whatever they type in, we're going to turn into an integer, and that's just so it fits into the integer array here. Right? Hopefully that makes sense so far. I'm just making sure that I'm recording. I'm really paranoid. Okay. So we can play that and sort of see what it looks like at the start. We haven't used a couple of things. So let's say we have, 4 elements. Element number 1, 7, 2, 1, 4, and then it should stop. Yeah, okay. So that's what we want. So that's how we're going to define our array, essentially. So this is making a brand new array, storing number based off the user's input. That's where we're at. Okay. So that's the first bit. So let me write some notes here. I can get into the habit of writing notes. We created an array called R, right? An array called R. We are storing user input into it to each element. All right. So that's what we're doing with this loop here. Yeah. We've made this array R to the size array length, okay? And then we're looping through that and adding new numbers for every single one. Okay, so now the next thing that we need to do, we should probably print out the array. So we're gonna print out the current order. Right. The console dot write line. The current order is. Right. This is going to print out the current order of the array, and we're going to have to do another for loop here, which is a bit annoying, but and it's similar to the one above. Right. It's basically the exact same setup as the one above, except we're just going to have console dot write. We're not going to do write line. It's going to do write, and we're going to print out whatever's in this array spot. And then we should probably put in like a comma. we do it this way. I'll say I print out whatever's in that array spot, and then a space, a comma, space, comma. Sorry, I know I'm being weird. That'll be fine. Right? Okay. So what this line here is saying is that I'm going to write out whatever this variable is, and then a comma, and then a space after that comma. And that should iterate through every single time. So let's see what this looks like. Make sure that it works. Okay, so let's do 6 elements. I'm going to do 5, 3, 2, 6, 7, and 1. Oh, that didn't work. Why didn't that work? Oh, did I mean? Because I don't have a console read line at the end, so it doesn't stop. Okay. Because remember, we need it to stop at the end so we can see that input. Let's just go 5 elements this time. 3, 7, 1, 2, 9. Current order is 3, 7, 1, 2, 9. Oh, I don't like that commas at the end. That's annoying. Maybe I should ditch the comma. I mean, there is a way to. I could just have an if statement in there. If I is equal to array length minus 1, then no comma. But nah, I can't do too much. Okay. So that's what the array is currently looking like. All right. Right. So we got that. We printed out our array. Now what we need to do is we need to fill around with this like inside and outside sort of setup. All right. So let's have for inside. It should be outside on the outside, right? For outside is equal to 0 to what am I going to do here? To array len minus 1. Alright. This is going to make a for loop using the variable outside, which we do. Technically, I don't need to. I'm not going to muck around with it anymore. So I should have put my comment in here as well. So now we sort each spot in the array. We're going to sort through each spot in the array, finding the next smallest. Right. So think of it, this is the, you know how I was talking about in OneNote? Let me get this page. It's awful. All right, let me get the new page and I'll try and make this a little bit better. So if these are my numbers, right? These are my numbers, and I'm sorting through. Remember, I said that there was like 2 arrows. One of them is like current position, and then the other one is current smallest, right? If we're staying at current position 1, yeah, okay, it's 2 smaller than 4, yes. So the current position is 2, 2 smaller than 7, yes. And gets all the way to 1, and then 1 becomes the current smallest, right? And we erase that original 1. So this outer array is this blue arrow, which is going to iterate through this list inside much more slowly. And then we're going to do a loop inside of this loop that is essentially the green arrow that goes through and finds the smallest. That might be a little bit hard to understand. Don't stress if you're a little bit confused. Okay, so for outside to array length minus 1, and then we're going to do for inside 0 to test it array length minus 1. Right, so I've got a loop inside of my loop. Alright, so the first one is that slow arrow that slowly ticks along this inside one. Every single time that blue arrow moves, that green arrow is going to check every single thing in the row. So what am I going to do here? For inside is equal to, well, actually that's not going to work. can't be 0 because it's going to iterate through every time. It has to be outside plus 1. All right. Whatever the outside number is, this has to be the next one along, I think, for it to actually like properly work. So the outside is 0, then the inside we're starting from the next value along. So with that outside we're starting with the first one, the other one we're starting at the next one, and we're comparing them. That should work. All right. So we have to have an if statement. If array outside, if array outside is bigger than array inside, that's when we got a problem, right? So if array outside is bigger than array inside, this is where we need that temporary variable that I was talking about. So this temporary variable equals the value of array outside. All right. So we'll store whatever that current value is. If we go back to this one, what we're doing right now is we're saying, okay, if 1 is less than 2, right? Is that how I've got it? If outside is bigger than the inside. Is that the right way around? The outside is bigger than the inside. Yeah, that is the right way around. Then we're going to temporarily store this 2 somewhere. We're going to swap this 1 into this spot, and then we're going to put this 2 into where the 1 was, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully it works as well. I haven't really tested this, to be honest with you. Okay. Then array outside, right, will be equal to the array inside, and then the array inside will be equal to the temporary storage where I put the outside value. Right? Hopefully that works. So it's like swapping itself around. So let's see if this works. Let's have a console dot write line at the end. Oh, this is in the wrong part. Console dot write line. We'll say ascending order. In ascending order, now you guessed it, we have to do another for loop. I'm just going to do I to proper variables. So for I equals 0 to array n minus 1. Okay, so we're just going to go through and we're just going to print all this out. So it's just going to be similar to the one we did above. It's actually going to be exactly the same as the one we did above. I should have just copied that. Alright, so we're going to print out what I did. I think I did it this way. Add a space, comma, array, I. Hopefully that works. If not, this is going to be a little bit embarrassing. Alright, how many elements? Let's say 4. We'll put them in mucked up order. So we want to get 1, 2, 3, 4 ideally. The current order is 4, 2, 3, 1. Ascending order 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that worked. What I should do though is like this console.write line. Because there's no console.write line at the end of this one, I believe. Yeah. I'll just chuck a random one in here. It's just going to stop it from being a little bit annoying. Alright, I'll check again, make sure this works properly. Oh, I stuffed something up, did I? And remove the bracket. So yeah, hopefully this is a little bit tidier now. And you can muck around with it and make it a little bit sort of neater. Let's say 2, 3, 3, 7, 6, 1. The current order is 2, 3, 3, 7, 6, 1. Ascending order is 1, 2, 3, 3, 6, 7. Okay, so that works. Hopefully that gives you some perspective on how this all happens. That was the easy one. I'll make another video on the hard one.